You're listening to Edging the Truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. Welcome to another episode of Edging the Truth, the conspiracy theory podcast that takes you to the edge of the truth. But no further, motherfuckers. I'm Fudge. I'm back with my boys, with the gang, if you will, for another great episode. Thank you to all of us that are joining live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. edgingthetruth.com/live. We really, really appreciate it. And if you're listening to us after the fact, we appreciate that as well, wherever that may be. I'm here with Brian, the group skeptic. I'm here with Dave, I don't know. He does like everything for the podcast. And my buddy, Mikey, 50 milligram, Mikey, Mr. One Lung Low. We're here. We're back. And we are talking about another really fun topic today. We all love music on this podcast. I mean, we have a fucking professional, world-renowned musician on the show. So what better topic to have? We are talking, I'm sure you could hear me in the beginning if we keep it in, screaming Avril Lavigne at the top of my lungs. That's right. Have you guys heard the theory that Avril Lavigne died in 2003, shortly after the release of her first studio album, Let Go, and was replaced by a body double named Melissa Vandella? Yeah, that's the theory. So she took her own life in 2003.
I didn't know she took her own life.
Yes, that is a part of this. That is a part of the story. So I'll give some backstory here. So apparently, when Avril Lavigne first got big in the early 2000s, she wasn't a fan of the whole like Hollywood lifestyle, kind of the backstage kind of stuff, especially the paparazzi, the media type stuff. So apparently, they hired a body double for her, an actress named Melissa Vandella, that looks very similar to Avril, to basically do all of these appearances and kind of take the lumps and do the shit Avril didn't want to do. Cut to 2003, Avril's first album, like I said, Let Go, gets released. Super, super popular. This theory states that, you know, she was super stressed about the release of the album and touring, and her grandfather unfortunately passed away, and she was going through some depression. And the theory alleges that she took her own life, and that in that time they kept it very quiet. And in the time in between that would have happened and the release of her next album, which of course I'm forgetting the name of, that they trained her body double, Melissa, how to play music exactly like her, sing exactly like her, and all of this stuff. This all comes from a blog that was written in 2011, a Brazilian blog. I believe it's titled Avril. What was it, Red? Do you remember?
So basically Avril is dead in Portuguese.
Avril S. Morta or something like that, .com. You can look it up. It's still there. It's all in Portuguese. I guess you can throw it into Google Translate if you don't understand it. But basically, it points out a bunch of differences that, you know, after this time period, like her music changed, her style changed. There are certain ways, like the shape of her face, like certain blemishes were gone on her face. The way that she did her hair was completely different. At the beginning of her career, it was always just straight, flat, parted in the middle. She always wore, you know, jeans and like a tank top. And then suddenly she started, you know, wavy hair. She's putting colors in it, designs in it. She's wearing skirts, which she never did before. Her music got way more poppy and very not punk. And kind of how her career started. And that's not to say that, you know, as a musician, Red, you could speak to this better than any of us. It's like, you definitely can see changes in your career, changes in the way you do music as it goes on and as you grow older. Yeah. Also, you know, as you age and you're not, you know, in your early 20s and you get up to your 30s, you're going to look a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to kind of open this up, and we can go into a little bit more backstory. I'm interested to hear what kind of research you guys did, what things you found interesting about this. Red, I'll start with you. Being the group musician, I feel like it's only right. So anything I missed, anything you thought was super interesting that stood out that made you kind of think about this?
Well, I think, I mean, the big question marks for me were, number one, this theory doesn't come around until 8 years after it supposedly happened. So you mean to tell me it took people 8 years to figure this out? Number one. Number two, I feel like there's, like you said, there's so many ways you can explain the changes, especially from album 1 to 2 and 3 and 4. Record labels, people, record labels, like they're trying to sell a commodity and a product. And who knows what happened in the background? Did she submit some songs for a second album and they were like, no, this isn't really what we think we want to do, and blah blah, we think we can sell you better if you're a little more girly, et cetera, et cetera. None of those things would surprise me. Number three, absolutely, the difference between the kind of artist, musician, creative person you are in your late teens, early 20s. How old was she when her first success happened? I can't remember, but she was young.
She was like 18, 19.
Like, yeah, she was under 20, right? Yeah. So if you're talking about the difference between someone who's, let's say, 19 to the difference between someone who's 29 even is really different, right? I mean, Fudge, you're 10 years from how you were when you were 17 or whatever, right? Like, are you even close to the human being you were when you were 17?
Kind of.
I mean, parts of you are your identity,
mentally,
right?
Yes, mentally, on the outside. On the outside.
But again, I feel like so much of this is just about trying to develop her image, trying to appeal to a broader audience, break into other things, right? The little skater girl thing can only get you so far. But you know what? You could be a cover girl for Chanel if you get into the makeup thing and start to look a little more girly, etc. Like I said earlier. I saw an amazing tweet that I shared with the group before we did the show, and I feel like this is being echoed in our chat comments as well. Mom shows mom conspiracy theory about Avril Lavigne. Mom responds, looks like she just learned how to do her makeup better. And for me, that's a lot of it. Look at her teeth. It's the same teeth. It's the same nose. Like, it's the same person. Come on. Why would they go? Who would go to all this effort? That's the other thing. Like, who would actually, is she that huge of a pop star that we would invest all of this money and infrastructure to keep it going for someone who made one record at the time this all supposedly happened? And then last, I want to just throw out there, this blog, as we talk about in this podcast, lots of these things come from a single point of origin, and then they just kind of keep coming up every 3 or 4 years. This blog that came out in 2011 in Brazil has since posted for itself, the writer, saying, hey, everybody, this is totally a hoax. And this was made to show you how a conspiracy theory can be made to look real. And yes, conspiracy theorists are going to be like, well, that's how they give you the switcheroo. So you don't think it's a conspiracy. You think it's fake, and then you don't think about it being real anymore, but it actually is real. Yeah, fuck all that.
So there's a couple of the clips that I sent that I watched and thought were interesting that I kind of forgot to bring up in the beginning. Was they like chopped up different like interviews of her, where like ones are supposedly the body double and then ones are supposedly her. And I will say the voice did sound a little different. It could just be like the difference of the events, the difference of the interviews that she was at. I did watch one where she did like a phone interview with this radio show in Australia, and they asked her about it. She was like, "Oh no, that's so totally weird. It's so bizarre to me. Like, I can't believe people like believe that. It's crazy." But she didn't
say no.
She didn't say no, and then that interview ended early because of like technical difficulties.
Yes.
So there are a few like ambiguous aspects. One thing they really pushed is they said that her handwriting changed and that her autograph changed. Like, if you look in the inside cover of her for albums. Like there would be like writing, and it was completely different from album to album. But
you mean like somebody went to college or got educated or like learned? Someone said, you know what, you got to have better handwriting if you're going to be famous or something. You know, I feel like a PR person, a stylist, an image manager, whatever. I'm sure there's many different names for this job for people that are famous.
Manager.
Yeah, somebody was like, look, you gotta learn these etiquette class, right? It's like, yeah.
Know what the folks are.
Another one I watched was clips of her singing. So like her in 2003 singing the Skater Boy, and then again in 2005 singing Skater Boy. Did sound pretty different, but
auto-tune bitch.
It's 2 years. They were both live performances.
They were both live, and I think there's the couple of things that I always think about when I see those is like, well, number one, especially with interviews, like microphones can really change the quality of your voice. I'm super thankful I have this microphone because it makes my voice feel and sound deeper than it actually is. Most of the time you would say my brother used to say I have a real pinhead voice. This microphone helps minimize that for me. Who knows what the story is on the mics on all these different interviews and all that kind of stuff.
I can tell you from going venue to venue. I know that shit.
Yeah. And as for the live part, like, okay, maybe she's not singing in tune as well, right? Her pitch is off, and that could be just bad in-ears. That could be bad monitors. I've worked with tons of singers that are great that still have pitch moments because they're having trouble hearing their backing track or the band that's around them, or it's not in their ears or enough, or they're not in their ears or enough, all that kind of stuff.
So there was also in 2017, like you mentioned earlier, this is one of those that just keeps coming up. Like she even commented on this as recently as this year. Like
yeah.
And in 2017 there was a 50 tweet Twitter thread by I think it ended up just being like some high school student or some teenager. Their @ was @GaVinci which you. I tried to look it up. The account's suspended. Like it's not there anymore, so you can't find the thread. But it was a thread about Avril Lavigne and showing like all the differences between her and Melissa and a bunch of basically the whole theory that went viral. And then she's commented on it multiple times. She's been like, "Oh, that's crazy." I read something that said she gets a kick out of it. But then when I've heard like the quotes from her, feels like she's kind of annoyed with it, and she's kind of just like, I'm right here, like I'm right in front of you. But it's exactly what they fucking want us to think. Okay. Mike, what do you think about this? You've been very quiet over there.
Yeah.
Says everything right there.
A couple things. There's a saying, there's no such thing as bad press, right? So when these stories come back around and she's commenting on them even this year, she's starting to make music again and put stuff back out there again. So anytime she can get her name out there and it's like in the pop culture and the news, everything like that, of course you're going to retweet it, you're going to comment on it. But at the same time, she probably is getting annoyed with it. Like, hey, it is me. I am right there. We talk about the change in the signature. Like when she first started signing things, I think that everybody that first starts anything, like they're doing their name all nice and everything. But then as you get more fans, you're getting requested more and more. Your signature and your writing is going to change because you're trying to do things a lot faster, a lot quicker, trying to be, you want to still connect with people, but you just want to get through it too. So things are going to change with your signature. As far as your voice changing, like Red said, it's got a lot to do with like your studio stuff or the microphones, or it could be maybe she was not feeling good that day.
Yeah, just vocal stress.
So many things that can go into the vocals being different, So I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me is that like it kind of goes back to Red and his idea of like why would they spend so much money and time and effort on somebody that's only made one album? Like, did they just think, oh man, this is gonna be such a big star that
she was really popular.
I mean, she was out of nowhere. She was huge.
Sure.
Yes.
She was fucking huge.
But why wouldn't you do this with Michael Jackson Why wouldn't you do this with, you know, David Bowie? Why wouldn't you do that? You know, like there's I feel like if it's a money thing, there's a lot better choices at that time, especially, you know, 2003 weren't like
dudes were dead.
No,
no. But I'm saying, but they are now.
Oh, okay, yeah, but.
And if a record company was going to choose, you'd choose a big fish, especially. I mean, I'm going to assume this is an expensive endeavor too, right?
I would guess to keep this ruse up.
Right.
There's another piece of evidence that the conspiracy theorists behind this, or people that believe this, like really go off of, is she did a photo shoot in like 2004, 2005, where she was holding up her hands, and on her hand it said Melissa.
Yes.
There was a lyric, I think it was in her song called like Slipping Away or something, that people said, oh, that's her talking about Avril dying and slipping away and transitioning into Melissa, because like something like I can't bring you back. But it very easily could have been, you know, about a boy or a lost loved one or something like that.
White love.
Exactly. So Brian, you're gonna shit on it. Just go ahead. What do you got for us this time?
I'm all in on this. She's been replaced. This is a new person. That's 100%. This is somebody totally different, because guys, let me tell you, if I cannot trust a Brazilian blogger to come with the truth, I don't even know what I can trust in the world anymore.
Exactly.
You can't. You can't.
Totally changed. It's all thing. There's a conspiracy by Lucian Grange, who's the CEO of Universal Music. That's what he's doing right now. He's coming in heavy. He's coming in hot. That's what's saying. They replaced her. She is dead. This is someone different. That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. It's like,
no, she is a serious big link in the chain. She must not be broken. Her life must go on. She must make more music. Okay, it is a future thing.
What?
There is like somebody came back in time and said, no, we have to keep this girl going. I think she might be an alien, and this is the alien's first hit record, and we cannot have that be stymied just because the alien died. That's why they sent another alien. That's what this is.
Whoa, hang on. So you just threw in there that not only is this true, but the original Avril Lavigne was an alien.
Yes.
And so
that's why it's so important.
Did she know Bigfoot?
But then why wouldn't they tell us that?
Listen,
like you'd make more money if you said that after she's dead.
Thank you. That's what I was gonna say.
No, in 2004, they were like, "Here's the corpse of Avril Lavigne," and unzipped it, and everybody would go buy that record.
One of the videos that was like 2 or 3 minutes that they were obviously, you know, kind of joking around, but they were like, "Yeah, she's a time traveling lizard person." So I mean, there's
back to the lizard. We know that's full of shit.
People is stupid. Okay, nobody is talking about lizard people. Okay?
No one is believing
we are
you,
talking
Brian.
about potentially time traveling aliens. All right, that's what we're talking about here. This is a serious topic. I don't know why you guys are not taking this seriously. Because Avril Lavigne is definitely dead. She was back to the mothership and she's gone. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wait.
That being said, this is the exact storyline of the movie Dave, starring Kevin Spacey, or it was Kevin Kline.
No, Kevin Kline.
Weaver. And so I mean, they did make a movie that was exactly this, but like, I don't know.
That was a president.
The president, though.
President.
Oh, sorry, but do you don't think the president could have made another good album? Come on.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Let's go. Let's just humor me for a second. Let me look up what the biggest albums were of 2003. Okay, if we're going back to 2003 in pop music,
but also for the record company, you think they'd make more money if she did die? Like, look at Amy Winehouse when she passed away. Like she kind of got like bigger after she passed away.
I mean, you're talking about.
You need the music. You got to keep it going.
That was Hey Ya from Outkast. That was Eminem, Lose Yourself. That was Crazy in Love, Beyonce. I mean,
yeah.
Come on.
You have to keep Avril alive to compete with that.
She doesn't compete with that. She doesn't compete with any of those people.
Look, I didn't say it made sense. I'm just telling you what the record company does.
Christina Aguilera's on that list. Black Eyed Peas. Sean Paul, Get Busy. I mean, come on.
Okay, she might overtake Sean Paul.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, at least Sean
Busy
Paul's
was a
like
banger.
still doing
It took
shit.
you 6 people before you got to somebody though.
Girl, shake that booty nonstop. That's a good song. That's a banger.
I mean, I don't see
All
the
right, well,
reason.
So that being said, of course the fucking chick is alive. They're both alive. I think there's a goddamn photo with them together standing side by side. I mean, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? Brazilian blog? Once I had to translate it from Portuguese into English, I'm like, this is not a real conspiracy.
Yes, it's very much not.
Also, I do want to say there could be some truth to them hiring somebody to
for sure
take care of like some of the tasks that Avril didn't want to do. You know,
doubles.
Yeah, there's doubles all the time for lots of different things. Mm-hmm. Like there was a picture in the news the other day of Kim Kardashian having a double, and the double going out and getting into the car, and then Kim Kardashian following the double, like, and nobody was paying attention to her because they were all focused on the double, and it was just like, that's interesting that that would happen, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I would think, especially with somebody who's like young and instantly famous, also Canadian, but you know, I can see it being overwhelming and saying, you know what, I need
keeping her alive for Canada's sake. And that all makes sense, guys. I mean, I'm saying, I don't know. I'm on the fence on this now again. I went back the other way.
I mean, I don't know. I'm.
Go ahead, Andy. It just seems like we have a consensus here. If we dig a little deeper into this Melissa Vandella character, there really isn't. There's no like record of her. There's no like document that she ever existed. There's no IMDb page, which you would think if she is some actor that they would have. That like people have done research into it. They haven't been able to find anything. Like Red said earlier, the Avril Esta Morta writer came out and said, "Oh yeah, I was just fucking with all of you. You're stupid. This is exactly how this shit works." I don't know. Like, One Long, you have anything else to add? I think we'll do another round here of our final thoughts.
Can we throw up Brian McArdle's comment up here? I feel like it's very poignant and prescient for what we're talking about here. The Brazilian bloggers are the rooters of the South American alt music blogging scene, and I think that's totally correct. I think that he was pressured into pushing that recantment story. That's all true.
He had to agree with another Brian, of course.
See.
Yes, and Z brings up the fact that there's also like, besides the Paul McCartney one, which is kind of the most famous one like this, there is this conspiracy theory about Melania Trump being replaced with a robot too. So
I would believe that as well.
I think for me,
that actually sounds more plausible.
There's just not enough reason behind it to do this. Like, and I think that, you know, with most of the conspiracy theories that we talk about here, like, I can see there being reasons for those things, you know, and on this one, I don't see a reason behind doing this and going through all this effort and, you know, every single thing that they bring up about, you know, her voice, her signatures, like all that stuff is easily explained with somebody growing up, the area around them changing, you know, things about themselves changing, you know. I think that nothing really makes sense to say, yeah, she's definitely a double living in, you know, yeah, that's what I think. Nothing else really to say about it. I just don't really find this one to be a viable topic.
The very last video I watched was like 6 minutes long. I think I sent it, and it was that one said that she wasn't even dead, but there was still just a double. So there's theories that she's still alive, but she has a body double, where they were comparing the interviews, where it was real Avril and Melissa, and there was a theory that Avril, whatever, bro. There was another theory that it's not even an actual body double. It's an actual clone of her. Like, there's so much shit here. I would definitely recommend, if you are into this sort of thing, if you enjoyed this episode, just Google Avril Lavigne conspiracy theories. A bunch of stuff will pop up. throw it in YouTube. There's tons of videos that kind of break it down where you can see, you know, the pictures of the differences in her face that they point out, the difference in her speech in certain interviews and stuff like that, the difference in her singing. I don't know. I think we're all kind of on the same page. I would actually like this to be true. To be honest with you, I think it's a fun topic, and there's kind of a lot to talk about here. I love that we have like an actual musician here as well. That for your perspective has been really cool on this, Red Raspus. So I will go to Brian here to give your kind of final.
Before you go to Brian. I do agree that there is a double. I think that there is a double. And I think that the article or the video that you shared does point out a lot of good things to show that there is a double. I don't believe that she's dead, though. That's the part of the conspiracy I don't believe. I don't think she's dead. I do think that there is a double, and I think that the double's probably stood in for her, maybe done an interview or two for her. Maybe did sing a couple times for her. I don't know. You know, I don't know how far they went with it, but I do think there is a double. Don't think she's dead, though. There we go. That's my point.
Mr. Nannies?
So, yes, I don't think clone, also I feel plausible. But also, you know, is she the first we cloned? We went Sheep and then Avril Lavigne. We're like, that's the one. Yes, the one. We got to clone to save humanity. And I also like to think that there's a bunch of like failed Avril Lavigne clones in tanks somewhere. Just
why would we not do Jurassic Park if we could do that? I mean,
Jurassic Lavigne, like just fucking half hybrid Avril Lavigne dinosaurs. I could sell that movie. I'm just saying. As much as I would think that she would be replaced, I really have to go far afield, as you can see, to time-traveling alien overlord monsters that have to keep their first pop star success on Earth alive to actually make a cohesive story out of this. No, it's fake. Single source conspiracy. We here at Edging the Truth podcast love Avril Lavigne. So please don't send us a cease and desist or sue us. We love you. We think you're very much alive.
Yeah. Why have to be so complicated, Brian? Yeah, we're a huge Avril Lavigne podcast. We're
huge. We're gonna change the whole thing.
Yeah, might just change the name to just Lavigne Pod or just something like that. We'll find
Lavigne the truth, Avril the truth.
Yeah, well, we are going to scour through her fucking discography and find the most obscure Avril Lavigne reference we can, and that will be the new name of the podcast.
I definitely know more than 2 songs.
Yeah, no shit.
Definitely.
I don't.
Me neither.
Red, take us home on this, if you can. Try to sum it up as best you can.
Yes.
I mean. Yeah, I think there's so many there's too many reasons to explain all this stuff away. Whether it's the handwriting, there's multiple ways that could be explained away. It could just be her assistant wrote those notes and it was dictated, or something stupid and silly like that. I think all of the things that we're talking about, whether it's just natural musical development and your taste change over time, to maybe there's some record label management or requirements or contractual shit, management things. Who knows? I don't buy any of this stuff. What I see is somebody who's growing up, who's trying to play the game of pop music, and doing what they can to do more in that. And that's it.
I love it.
To me, it's black and white.
Mm-hmm. New producer, new direction from the label, all classic music business stuff that happens.
Yeah, like look at Taylor Swift.
More marketability.
I mean, I'll give you the example that I think is the closest. Who is married to Blake Shelton?
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani. Picture Gwen Stefani at the beginning of her career,
no doubt,
no doubt, and the way she dressed there. And the way you see her now on The Voice, elegant ball gowns, the whole drill, totally different vibe.
You know that she designs with.
It's a different person. There's a different Gwen Stefani. No, she's just grown up. She's just different.
The shit's bananas. BANANAS.
BANANAS. Well, all right, skater boys. We'll
Skater
see
boys.
We'll see you later, boys. So this has been episode 23 of Edging the Truth. Before we get out of here, Red, will you let them know about our awesome merchandise, where they can find us? Let them know about that.
Yeah, you can find us everywhere online at edgingthetruth.com. You can get links to all our social media there. You can also consume these live recordings there. We have a ton of fabulous merch also available at edgingthetruth.com or shop.edgingthetruth.com if you want to go straight there. And of course, if you want to reach out and contact us, the way we like is our voicemail. So we can hear your voice and you can leave a message and tell us a story. The number for that is 917-979-6071. You can give us a comment on a previous episode. You can give us an idea for an upcoming episode. You can do whatever you like. The floor is yours when you leave that message. So be sure to find us in any one of those places, whatever best way for you to consume podcasts is. The links are all available at edgingthetruth.com.
Check us out. You know where to find us now. We appreciate everybody for tuning in live. We appreciate all the comments. Thanks to my good buddy Brian McCardle for the Brazilian bloggers comment. That was great. Check us out, me and Brian, on From the Stands Sports, college football show every Friday evening on Facebook and YouTube. Also check out Edging the Truth. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Edging the Truth. It's been another great episode. I think we had a great time. Looking forward to the next one. Avril Lavigne obviously died in 2003, and she has a body double named Melissa Mandela that we all unanimously agreed
100%
is 100% true and absolutely real. This has been episode 23 of Edging the Truth. I'm Andy. That's Brian. That's Dave. And that's Mikey. And we are out of here. See you later, skater boys.
Skater boys.
Visit edgingthetruth.com for more information and links to all our social media and podcast directories.